everyone, a wonderful good morning here from Bonn/Cologne, Germany. We have quite a busy trip ahead of us. Patricia's driving. Hello. And I'm on the next seat here. And I posted my schedule for the next 2 weeks actually on social media, and I had a huge influx of messages from people who said, "Hey Julian, if you're traveling so much, how can you be sure that you're staying productive, or you're making sure that stuff doesn't get lost?" And so I thought, I think you need to kind of have some tools in your belt for this, and have some things on how to stay productive even while you're on the road. And so I want to give you a couple of tips, and I'm going to focus on the three most important ones. If you like this stuff, give me a thumbs up. I know not much on crypto right now or today, just also because I don't think there's much to share on the market other than people asking when is the market going to go up, and it's not something I want to talk about, because I think sometimes it just needs some time, and people should just get going and get work going. So if you're coming in, drop me a line where you're coming in from. Please also remember, this is my personal channel, so I'm going to focus on all kinds of stuff on cryptocurrencies and blockchain. And as always, this does not reflect the opinion of 10x. This is my personal opinion on this entire thing. Just want to highlight that because some people misunderstand that. So let's focus on a couple of tips when traveling and staying and still staying productive, right? And this is, I think, quite relevant because I think when you travel, you can actually be uber productive. I don't know if you have noticed this and how this works, but then obviously there's different types of travel, right? So some people travel with planes, some people travel with trains, some people travel in a car, and I guess you need to kind of differentiate between those, and I'm going to try to focus on those. I think the most important thing when traveling is that you need to get a kind of ritual or a kind of routine. And this is true for literally anything. I think this is such an important kind of concept or an important kind of topic. I don't really know where to put my hand. So that's why I'm just switching back and forth here, because I don't want to hold the camera all the time because I'm getting tired and shaking a bit too much. But you need to get some kind of ritual. And this is, let's say you're driving by car, you need to get some kind of ritual in how for you basically start a good car ride, or when you arrive somewhere, what do you do? The same with train, the same with plane. So I'm going to give you some things that I, for example, do. Whenever I arrive in a new place or I arrive in a new city, whenever possible, I try to kind of ground again. If possible, get to the gym or do some kind of sports or go for a walk. I do some kind of activity just to detach from all the kind of traveling and all that's going, and just kind of do something for my body. I just love doing that, and that's really, really important to me. So let's say plane, when I arrive somewhere and I don't have straight away a meeting, and many times I try not to have straight away a meeting, sometimes I have, but if possible, I try to go to the gym, or I try to go to the sauna. So yesterday, for example, we arrived here in Bonn, because we're having some television interviews today and having some meetings, and tonight in Cologne we have a crypto night. So we arrived here in Bonn. We had a team meeting yesterday, Sunday, with the German team here in Würzburg, which is quite close by. And we arrived in Bonn, it was like 10 p.m. And so basically grounding myself, I went to the sauna and just did like a 15-minute sauna session. Maciek, yes, I'm in Bonn right now as well, driving to Cologne at the moment. And so I went to the sauna. I went to the sauna because yesterday morning I went to the gym already, so I didn't want to go twice. I don't want that, so I went to the sauna. And so I need something that kind of gets me like grounded again. And then afterwards, I actually went with Patricia. We went up to the rooftop bar of the hotel and had a small drink, and I did a lot of work. I was writing, did some email, and just kind of went on this. And I'm going to talk a bit about this. If you're driving, for example, you need a ritual as well. What are your steps there? And this actually brings me to something that's really important, and that's food. And that also comes in with a ritual. What do you eat when you are traveling? And many people tend to eat quite crappy when they're traveling. for example, when we're driving, I mean, obviously we've been driving a lot yesterday in Europe, and people tend to stop at the gas station and they eat some snacks or they eat some sweets. And at the end, this really reflects badly on your energy. And at the end, energy is so much in what you can bring to the table. So I'm someone who tries to avoid sugar. I don't always manage to do that, but if possible, I do. So yesterday, for example, I went to the gas station and I got some sausages, and the lady was like, hey, do you want some bread with that sausage? I said, no, I don't want any bread. Yeah, but it's included in the price. And I said, yeah, well, that's nice, but I don't want it. So I had 2 sausages yesterday and then had a lot of water. So obviously these rituals with eating, this also is the case when I, for example, I'm on the plane, it's really relevant on how I eat. So sometimes I prefer, I travel quite a lot, so many times I could go to a lounge, but I sometimes don't go to the lounge and eat there because the food there is quite crap. So I prefer to actually just have like a small salad somewhere, and then I don't eat on the plane because maybe the plane food is not good. And this doesn't have to be expensive, right? I think many of these things work quite well on a small budget or on a big budget. So I think that's quite relevant or quite straightforward. So that's the first thing. So you need to have some good rituals and you need to have some good habits, and and this really kind of applies there. The second really important tip is to have a box of things that you have to be doing, but don't focus so much on the time when you have to do those, because many times they can be very unpredictable, but focus on the circumstances. And so here's a couple of things that I pool my things into. So first one is, do I have internet? Yes or no? This is a really relevant topic because with that, a lot of things change already. For example, if I have to do conference calls, I need internet. If I don't have internet, I have to do totally different things. So I have a pool of things that I do depending on whether I have internet or not. The second thing is, I have a pool of things that I can do whether I need it quiet or whether I don't need it quiet. And so what do I mean with this? Well, if I do this video, I can't do this when there's a couple of people around, and I don't want other people around, right? So I'm okay with Patricia driving, but I don't want to have hundreds of people around. And then there's other things, for example, writing email. Yesterday night in the bar, I don't care if I write these emails and it's loud or not. I put my headphones on, I don't hear anything, I have good music, and I can just catch up on emails. Now here's what a lot of people do here. They are so stuck in their traditional rhythm of how they normally do it that they say, you know what, I always get up, I have my breakfast, and then I do my emails afterwards. Well, this doesn't work because you need to sometimes change things around and you need to do things differently when you're traveling. Typical toolbox, for example, I have internet and it's quiet. Well, that means for me I can do calls. So I have a lot of calls, and my team members know that that they have to be a bit flexible during the time I'm traveling so that I can do these calls when I'm traveling. But then let's say I need to do some emails. Well, I do this when it can be loud out there, and normally I actually write emails when I don't have internet. Why? Because I can send them out afterwards. So when I have internet and it's quiet, then I, for example, can do such a video with you. So that to me is really relevant on these entire things, that you have these kind of things that you have to be doing and you should sort them, and that's how I sort them in. Is it quiet? Yes or no? And do I have internet? Yes or no? And so I basically have 4 little quadrants on things that I'm doing. And then obviously if you're driving yourself, right, I'm not driving right now, but if you're driving yourself, it's a totally different thing as if you're not driving yourself, because if you're driving yourself, you might be able to do a call, but you can't write email, right? So kind of keep this in mind. And the third thing, and that is something that I had to learn a bit over time, and that is sometimes it makes sense to invest a few euros in having to think less on unnecessary things. So what do I mean with this? Well, I used to, when I arrive somewhere, many times take a train to get into the city from the airport, for example. The problem with this is that I'm sitting on the train and I have to think, when do I have to get off? How do I get from the train to the hotel? Or how do I get from the train to the conference? If the difference between the train and, let's say, a taxi is not insane. I mean, you have some cities where you pay $200 for a taxi and the train is $10. But let's say the train is $10 and the taxi is $25, which is quite common in many cities. Then now I prefer to take the taxi. And that is because I can really get at the airport, get a taxi, and I have, let's say, 20 minutes where I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to worry about where am I, when do I have to get off, how do I get to the next step. And this is something that's really relevant. There's another thing, and that's actually, it was a tip from my best friend Dennis, that some of you know, and he said, Julian, you need to stay at the same hotels, you need to fly with the same airlines, you need to go to the same airports, even though sometimes you pay more for that. And this made zero sense to me, because I was always someone who enjoyed new things, to try out new things. But I understand the merit, because I know these hotels, or I know these places, I know these airports, I know these airlines. I have to make less decisions. I have to think about fewer things. It's completely normal. I fly a lot through Frankfurt, for example. Man, I know this airport like the back of my hands. So if I have to fly to a different airport, let's say London Heathrow, I don't know this airport that well. Or let's say I rent a car. If I have to rent a car, I always rent from the same company, just because I know the entire process. The same with hotels. So obviously there's always a fine line there. If one hotel is, let's say, 400 euros and the other one is 60 euros, well, you have to kind of budget that as well. But if, let's say, one hotel is 60 euros and the other one is 85 euros, I'm telling you, I used to be like, okay, I'm not going to pay these extra 25 euros. I'm going to pay the 60 euros. But these 25 euros cost me so much productivity and so much thinking that now I'm like, okay, what is the fair value there? Like, you need to find this fair value, right? And for you, this change might be that you're like today, let's say one hotel is 60 euros. I would be okay paying 90 euros for another hotel. I wouldn't be willing to pay 200 euros for that hotel. But just to kind of give you a balance, right? But so let's say you're someone, like I have a couple of friends, multi-millionaires. For them, it's like everything the same thing. They need to fly exactly the same airline, same flight, same car, same hotel. They drive the same route. Doesn't matter. I know people who say, you know what? I prefer paying 300 euros for an Uber rather than driving myself and renting a car, which might cost me 50 euros. Why? Because for them, this makes so much more sense. Now, I am not at that kind of level, and so I'm not that extreme, but I'm kind of just want to make some points here. And so you need to kind of think about how frustrated do you get with certain things. I don't know, like, for example, give you another example, airport security. So at the moment, I would not pay for facilitated airport security. There's VIP services at airports, and I'm not willing to pay that kind of money, just because I don't understand why I should be paying, let's say, 100 euros to get through a VIP lane at airport security. But I know people who pay this 100 euros. And then I talk to them and say, hey, dude, I don't understand why you're paying this 100 euro. Come on, it might take you 10 minutes longer on the normal line at airport security. And then they say, okay, listen, Julian, you're not understanding. It's not about those 10 minutes. It's about the chance that you get frustrated at airport security because one of these people there is just really rude, or you have to take your belt off and this just ticks you off, right? So these are small things where they say, you know, afterwards, this might cost you 30 minutes in just like thinking about this and being frustrated about this or not being in a good state. And so I just kind of want to throw out some ideas. At the moment, I'm not willing to pay 100 euros for VIP airport security, but I'm just kind of I want to try to inspire you with some of the thoughts with people that I am around that like put these thoughts into my head on a different kind of level. And so I hope you kind of understand that. And at the end, that is really going to help you in staying super productive even while traveling. And that can be on a train, on a bus, by car, on a plane, when you kind of just install those basic things. So I hope that gives you some ideas. Let me know in the comments below some tricks that I might not have covered. And other than that, I hope I see you at some of our crypto nights and the events in the next couple of weeks. And have a great week. So with this, all the best and have a good fun. Cheers. Thank you.